Hi gang, and welcome back. In this video we're going to be outlining the pillars of well-being. What are the pillars of well-being? The pillars of well-being are 8 key areas in your life where you can invest your time, energy, and attention along certain guidelines to reap rewards of happiness. So these are areas where you can make changes in your life, and if you make those changes, then you will become a happier person and a much happier person. So there's lots of places in your life you can make changes to make you happier, but these 8 will give you the most bang for your buck, and they're the places you should start if you're looking to improve your life. So I'll just be outlining them here, and in future videos I'll be talking more in depth about each one. So the first place you should focus your attention, the first pillar, is exercise. Simply said, the more one exercises, the happier one is. Now there's a limit to that. You can exercise so much you get hurt, or you can exercise so much that you endanger your health. I don't recommend that. But before you get to that point, generally more exercise is better. Get out there running, doing weightlifting, walking, really anything that you want to do. You can play sports, hang out with a group, do exercise in a group, go rock climbing, yoga, doesn't matter. But getting out and doing exercise maybe 3 to 6 times a week for 20 to 50 minutes, keeping it fresh, mixing it up, is a great way to become happier. It has downstream effects, so I guess we'll go into future videos more. In future videos we'll go into it more, but the number one thing if you want to become happier is to start exercising. The second pillar is sleep. So sleep is where the body recovers from the day. People who sleep really well are happier, they live longer, and they have healthier lives. So we'll be talking about strategies for optimizing sleep, but generally the idea is you want to aim for 7 to 9 hours every night if you're an adult, and you want to try to have that be relaxing and restorative sleep. And like I said, in future videos, we'll talk strategies for how to do that. The third one is nutrition. So the third pillar is nutrition. Nutrition, it's both simple and complicated, but the simple thing is you want to eat natural foods that would have been available to our ancient ancestors maybe 10,000 years ago. And you want to avoid foods that are heavily processed that the modern economy has churned out for us. So try to eat foods that come from nature and a wide variety of them, and try to avoid foods that are heavily manufactured. And food is fuel, so whatever you eat, that is what you will, that is how you'll feel. So if you eat well, you'll feel well, and if you eat poorly, you'll feel poorly. Fourth pillar is social connection and community. The idea here is basically the quantity and quality of your close personal relationships determines the quality of your life. So basically, if you have a happy family and have a lot of friends and you have deep connections with these people, you'll live a happier life than if you don't. Now, you might think, but my family stinks, or my friends aren't fun, or I have trouble making these things, or I'll have trouble forming these close bonds. Don't worry, in future videos we'll dive into sort of what to do in those scenarios. But generally, just to the extent you can, try to increase the quantity of relationships that you have, especially if you're extroverted. And if you're introverted or you already have a lot of friends and family, you don't need any more, try to increase the quality. Spend time with these people, try to be as charitable and loving as possible, and you will become much happier. Fifth one is philosophy, spirituality, and religion. So happy people generally have a connection to something larger than themselves. So not only are they connected to the people in their lives, but they're connected to a larger movement, the universe, God, just some deep connection to your deep values. And again, we'll go into this later on. But if you want to be happier, try to find a movement, be it philosophical, spiritual, religious, even broadly political, that deeply is meaningful to you, makes you feel connected to the universe or just some larger presence, and you will become a happier person. And do it in a way that's authentic to you. The sixth pillar is service. So A lot of times we think that the way to be happy is to try to make ourselves happy, and that's true. And a lot of the other pillars sort of attest to that. But however, there's one pillar that sort of flies in the face of that, and that's service to other people. One way to become happier is to give your time, your energy, make sacrifices to try to make other people happy. And when you do that, you'll find that you become happier. It's just a function of human life. So get out there, volunteer your time, give your money to people, and just generally work on doing kind actions for people in life. Seventh pillar is nature. So our brains and bodies evolved in environments over millions of years that were generally deeply connected with living nature environments. So being near the ocean, being near lakes, being near mountainscapes, being near rivers and forests and jungles. And our minds and bodies thrive most when we are around and integrated into those environments. So basically, to whatever degree you can, try to spend lots of time in nature, connecting with nature. That can be anything from buying houseplants and keeping houseplants and watering them and sort of looking at their beauty, to planning a trip to a national park every year, to living, near the ocean. But basically, the more time you can spend in natural settings that are sort of don't include, that have a minimal amount of skyscrapers, buildings, houses, etc., the more time you can spend in the nature that, again, 10,000 years ago our ancestors might have lived in, the more harmony you'll find between your mind and body and reality. And then the final one is processing, healing, and growth. So we all come into this life, or we are in this life dumped on some sort of cargo, some sort of deep psychological issues, predisposition to mental illness, trauma, or just the stories that come along with just an average life of, difficult parenting, difficult childhood, difficulties in youth, difficulties in any part of your life, things that come up that you don't necessarily know what to do with. So the idea is we want to work on processing them in therapy, in meditation, through journaling, through the arts, just talking out with friends. We want to work on healing from those. So those stories and traumas and stuff, they wound us, and we want to work on healing those wounds. And then we want to work on growth, growing out of that. So growing towards the best version of ourselves, or growing towards a version of ourselves that is most helpful to our communities. So those are the 8 pillars of well-being. In future videos and series of videos, I'll go into sort of recommendations on how you can optimize those areas of your life to become happier. But for now, it's just the overview. So yeah, if you already have an idea of what you need to do with those, go ahead and do it. If you want more information, see the future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.